famous triple garlic pasta followed. By the time Jack figured out how to turn the machine off, the kitchen was a war zone. And of course, there was a knock on the door. It was Stanley Roper, looking for a cup of sugar to fuel his workout. "Tripper, why are you covered in garlic pasta, and why is that machine smoking?" It's a new type of resistance training, Mr. Roper. Very avant-garde. Looks like a massacre. Stanley grunted. "I think I'll just stick to the jumping jacks. At least they're free." Chapter 15, The Midnight Marauder. The neighborhood was on high alert. Reports of a midnight marauder, a thief who supposedly stole only left foot shoes, had the Ropers in a frenzy. Unlocking the doors, "Helen," Stanley announced, bolting the front door with 3 different locks. "They're not getting my left loafer." Upstairs, the trio was feeling the tension. Jack had stayed up late studying for his pastry and peril exam, while the girls were fast asleep. Around 2:00 a.m., a strange scratching sound came from the balcony. Jack froze. He grabbed the only weapon he had, a large, heavy rolling pin. "Who's there?" Jack whispered, his voice trembling. The scratching continued. A shadow moved across the glass door. "I'm warning you. I'm a decorated veteran with a rolling pin, and I know how to use it," Jack shouted. He lunged toward the door, throwing it open. But the marauder wasn't a thief. It was a large, confused raccoon that had been trying to get into a bag of potting soil Jana had left outside. The raccoon hissed. Jack screamed. The raccoon bolted into the apartment, scurrying under the sofa. Chrissy and Jana burst out of their rooms, wearing matching pajamas and looks of pure terror. "What is it?" "The marauder," Jana yelled. "It's a raccoon." "Under the sofa," Jack pointed, still wielding the rolling pin. "Oh, poor thing. He must be hungry," Chrissy cooed, reaching for a piece of bread. "Chrissy, don't feed the wildlife." The chaos moved to the hallway as the raccoon managed to escape through the front door. But the noise had woken the Ropers. Stanley opened his door just as the raccoon ran past his feet. "A thief! He's tiny, but he's fast," Stanley shouted, swinging a broom at the empty air. "It was just a raccoon, Mr. Roper," Jack explained, leaning against the doorframe, exhausted. "A raccoon in my building." Stanley's eyes narrowing. "I'm charging you for the pest control, Tripper, and I'm keeping your right shoe until you pay up." As Stanley stomped back into his apartment, the trio looked at each other and laughed. Well, Jack sighed. At least he didn't take the left one. Chapter 16, The Secret Ingredient. The annual Santa Monica Chili Cook-Off was approaching, and Jack was determined to secure his legacy. He had been experimenting for weeks, filling the apartment with the smell of cumin, cayenne, and ambition. "It's missing something," Jack muttered, staring into a bubbling red pot. "Something that says I am a culinary god, but also I am approachable. Maybe it needs more salt," Chrissy suggested, looking over his shoulder. "Salt? Chrissy, salt is the amateur's crutch. I need a secret ingredient. Something bold. Something floral." Jana looked up from her plant catalog. "Floral? Jack, don't you dare put my prize-winning begonias in that chili." But Jack's mind was already racing. He had heard of a legendary chili queen in Texas who used a dash of expensive lavender oil. He waited until the girls left for a yoga retreat, which mostly involved lying on mats and talking about Larry Dallas's new van, to conduct his final experiment. He found a small, ornate glass bottle on the bathroom counter. It smelled divine, hints of lilac and sandalwood. "Perfect," Jack whispered, adding 3 generous drops to the pot. The night of the competition arrived. Jack stood proudly at his booth, wearing a chef's hat that added 6 inches to his height. The judges, a grim-faced woman in a polyester suit and a man who looked like he had eaten nothing but crackers for 40 years, approached. "Tripper's Midnight Heat Chili," Jack announced, handing them bowls. The judges took a bite. Their eyes widened. The woman started blinking rapidly. The man let out a small, muffled sneeze that sounded like a kitten. It's very aromatic," the woman gasped. "It has a certain soapiness," the man added, rubbing his tongue against the roof of his mouth. Jack's heart sank. He rushed home and found Jana looking for something. "Jack, have you seen my new Spring Breeze bath essence? I left it right here on the counter." Jack froze. Bath essence, not culinary extract. "No, it's for a relaxing soak. Why do you look like you've just seen a ghost?" Jack didn't answer. He just picked up a spoon, tasted the leftovers in the pot, and realized that his midnight heat chili was actually a very effective way to clean one's internal organs. Well, Jack sighed, clutching his stomach. At least the judges will have very fresh breath for the rest of the week. Chapter 17, The Great Santa Monica Heat Wave. The temperature in Southern California soared to 105 degrees. It was the kind of heat that made the asphalt feel like marshmallow and the palm trees look like they were begging for a cold shower. In apartment 201, the trio was at a breaking point. "I am melting," Chrissy moaned, draped over the kitchen table. "I think my bones have turned to liquid." "Don't worry, Chrissy," Jack wheezed, sitting in front of an open refrigerator. "If you turn into a puddle, we'll just mop you up and put you in the freezer, the air conditioner." a prehistoric machine that Stanley Roper claimed was state-of-the-art in 1952, had finally given up the ghost. It now produced only a faint, rhythmic clicking sound that was maddeningly similar to the sound of someone mocking them. Shauna walked in, her face red and her hair matted to her forehead. The Ropers have the only fan in the building, and Stanley is charging $5